Don't think you have enough to buy a house? I'm going to show you how the seller can actually help you. What's up everyone, I'm Madden, and today I'm going to dive into talking about what seller concessions are. Seller concession is essentially a way for the seller to contribute to your closing costs by wrapping into the loan. The way it would work is there's different programs that allow seller concession. So FHA we know is 3.5% down, they allow 6% seller concessions. On conventional, for example, if you were to do 5% down, they allow 3% seller concessions. But for this example, I'm just going to stick with FHA to 3.5% down, 6% sellers. I'll use round numbers too. So on a $100,000 purchase, on 6% of that, right, is $6,000. So the seller can contribute up to $6,000 towards your seller concessions. So rather than buying the house for $100,000, it gets wrapped into the loan. So you'd be buying the house for $106,000 because the seller has to walk away with $100,000. So you're wrapping into the loan that way. Now keep in mind that $6,000 is amortized over 30 years. So the increase in payment it's really peanuts, right? It's super small, so it's really negligible. But what it does is it helps lower your closing costs. Now you still have to come to closing with the 3.5% down that is required, on top of some other costs that are going to be required. But you'll have your down payment, you have your closing costs, and then what that seller concessions piece does is it helps lower those closing costs. So you can come to closing with a significantly less amount of money than if you were to go without seller concessions. So one important note about seller concessions is how it relates to the appraisal. Let's use that $100,000 example that I was using a little while ago. Rather than your house appraising at $100,000, well, now you're buying the house at $106,000. So now that appraisal has to go appraise at $106,000. When you add seller concessions, it makes your offer, or it's considered not as strong. One of the reasons is just that it does have to appraise at a higher amount. So a lot of times the sellers might get a little nervous that their house is going to appraise at that higher amount because that's going to be required by the bank. So seller concessions are a great way to lower your closing costs. They're not going to take away all of your closing costs, but they're definitely going to cover a big chunk. And the best way to figure out all the math and how the deal is structured is to contact a loan officer like myself. So if you have any questions on seller concessions, please click the link below. Send me a message on my website. I'd be happy to help you out.